I call the July 13th, 2026 Mexico City Council meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Hay.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Fink.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Approval of minutes.
I move we approve the minutes of June 22nd, regular session.
Hay.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Fink.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
All right, public hearings. First one, additional use permit.
Motion to,
I have a motion.
Okay,
have
motion.
to have a motion to open the public hearing.
Okay.
Second.
First one,
Second. Did you make?
I made it.
Yeah.
Hay.
yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Fink.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
First one, additional use permit. Mr. Slagle.
Yes, this is a public hearing. This is a request from Michael Helwig for an additional use to place 4 shipping containers on his property out on East Liberty Street. Once we have reviewed the information, then council, you will have a decision to make whether to approve or deny. And we'll go through some criteria that you'll have to answer before you can make that decision. But to give you the background, Drew Wilbur.
Good evening, council. This is a little atypical in regards to the additional use permits that we see. So in this particular case, Michael Helwig approached us with a letter for requesting the additional use permit to not only place 4 shipping containers on site at 5550 East Liberty Street, but also use them as commercial storage units, excuse me. So what was originally proposed on this is what you see on screen in green towards the east end of the property. That would be where he would locate the shipping containers that he requested. In conversation with him prior to the meeting, we provided notice, staff did, that we would be finding that that location would be deemed adverse impact to the neighborhood just because it is very close to the highway. It would be visible very easily. So in conversation ahead of time, he mentioned the possibility of placing those to the south of that storage building that's there on to the north of where it says amended location. That would be far enough back, we would consider it to be satisfactory and not adversely impact. That was all discussed at the Planning and Zoning Commission, so they amended their recommendation, and the recommendation is to permit the use of these 4 shipping containers and placement of them, and as well as allow it to be used as a commercial storage unit, as long as they are placed adjacent to that south property boundary. At that point, it would be difficult to see from the highway. It would still work for his purposes and meet our code. So the recommendation here, well, for as far as the recommendation goes, it's actually answering those 5 questions. My apologies. The questions of substantially increased traffic hazards, fire hazards, affect the character of the neighborhood, adversely affect the general welfare of the community, and then overtax public utilities. So,
I do have a question.
sure.
I read this and read it and read it, and I see where, you moved them so they weren't seen. But, and I can't remember the code entirely that was written for the storage for these containers. But I know on the last time that a request came about them to the council, we were, the owner made a big point of how they were going to look. And so I was wondering, and I don't see any mention of that in any of this about the appearance or making the appearance of them, even though we're not seeing them from the road, but about their appearance as far as uniformity or, Anyway, I was just wondering if we're going to be okay with that.
Yeah, that's an excellent question. So whenever we talked with him, he actually brought some pictures of it, and I should have asked for a copy of those. So in future cases, I will, so that we have that. So my apologies. Those copies that the pictures he provided showed almost brand new looking shipping containers. So they come right off, it sounds like, the boat. They're not old, rusted, or anything like that. They had good, clean paint on them. It's not that he would be doctoring them up to put like a wood side on it or anything of that nature. It's more of the fact that they look like they're fresh off of the assembly line, as far as pictures that I saw. So everything looked like it would fit in just fine out there.
Well, it made me curious about the code, if we have anything in the code as far as appearance goes. Because it seems
Oh.
like now we've had a couple requests about these storage units.
I understand what you're saying now. We do not have anything as far as directly related to shipping containers. However, I would say those fall under the same property maintenance code that anything else as far as an accessory building in town does. And we do have the ability to conduct enforcement or work with property owners if necessary, if something was to become a problem. So we do have that.
That was all I wanted to really ask.
My apologies, I did not understand there first.
Now, we did talk about if property does change hands, removal or re-admit, if you want to keep those.
We've asked the
And I don't know if
Planning
we've
and
seen-
Zoning Commission to look at that,
Yeah.
and give us some additional suggestions on renewals and as you've indicated, condition and some of those things. I haven't seen anything come back from them yet.
So to clarify, they'd be less visible from the road, but they're still visible. If you're driving in from the east,
It would be, because of the buildings there, both to the east and west, it would be pretty difficult to see them.
Plus it goes downhill.
Yeah, I can't say that it's not visible 100%, if you know what I mean, but it would be pretty hard.
yeah.
I had another concern, and maybe it's not one I need to have, but it seems like the requests that have come to council before this have been where people wanted to use the storage units for themselves, like to store things. This seems to be a case where someone really wants to use them to rent out. So I was a little, it kind of made me a little uneasy that perhaps we're opening a door to people just getting these empty containers now and just using them for rent or for commercial purposes. That was another concern I've kind of been going over in my mind.
Sure. Yep. And we've actually had some discussion on that. So this is actually already, the business name out there is Red Roof.
or something.
Yeah. So it's already sort of a storage area there. If it becomes, and keep in mind too, we don't permit shipping containers in residential neighborhoods at all. So that's not even on the table. Any kind of use would always go through council for a additional use permit. So we will always have these come before you for review. In this case, from staff's point of view, it was presented as, well, this is kind of an extension to an already established facility. In the past, whenever a facility wants to expand and put in an actual structure, we'll say that it's more of a traditional pole barn or extension to their storage facility. We ask them to still get a additional use permit.
So when somebody were to like construct a traditional building for storage, the city would gather taxes off of that if it were in the city limits, or some entity, how would that, like, do we get any?
Property taxes, I'm sure, would
anything
go
like
up.
that? So how does this work with storage units?
So I'm
Is it
assuming,
just, like a vehicle parked there?
it'd be
Personal
interesting.
property.
Be interesting to ask. It'd still be considered personal
It's
property.
personal property.
Yeah.
You actually collect more tax off of it than you would if it was a building per square foot.
Oh, really?
Personal property is higher than real
Because it's
estate.
not real property, it's personal property.
And then as a follow-up question, do we have other areas in the city that we allow kind of like permanent residents of storage containers? I know you said not in residential areas, but something like this?
We have, so in each case, we may have a business. It could be in a commercial district. A lot of times we see them in industrial districts. So I believe the last one that we had was for the transmission shop, if I'm not mistaken. That was several months ago now, on East Liberty here on, let's see here, what's the cross street? Is that Trinity or somewhere in that area? I feel like the old toy box is, I guess, what I would call
Well,
that
that was a
place.
case where he bought that property and the unit was already there, right? Am I right or am I wrong?
No, he was
No, he
putting,
brought-
he was
he brought
putting
in 3
shipping
of them.
containers
He
there.
brought me in, okay, sorry. Withdraw that.
You put some screening in place, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we permit them, it's just we've made sure now in our ordinances, and they certainly can still be refined if there's interest, but we say not in residentials at all, and then additional use permits for anything beyond that.
answer the questions.
Okay, you want to
What'd you
go
say?
through the list? All right, regarding the criteria, that council, if you find any of these findings in the affirmative, then you shall not allow, the permit must be denied. So, first question is, does it substantially increase traffic hazards or congestion?
No.
2, does it substantially increase any fire hazard?
No.
Does it adversely affect the character of the neighborhood?
Not that neighborhood.
No.
Does it adversely affect the general welfare of the community?
No.
Will it overtax public utilities?
No.
So therefore, being as you did not find any of those in the affirmative, then it is your choice then whether you wish to approve or not, and that's by motion, Your Honor.
But we don't have to approve it, we just, those
You don't
other
have to.
triggers don't. Okay.
But if you found that any of those did, then you could not.
Could, okay, got it.
So we need a motion to approve those. I move we approve the additional use permit requested by Michael Hellwig.
Second.
Pate,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Pink,
No.
Gray,
Yes.
Briggs.
Need a motion to close the hearing, Your Honor, unless there's any other comments.
What about the rezoning B?
Oh, we have
still gotta do that one.
You got another one?
We have to close the one.
This public.
Oh,
Okay.
hearing.
I move we close the public hearing on use permits.
Second.
Pate,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Pink,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
I move we open the public hearing for the request by Lane Workman.
Second.
Pate,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Pink,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
All right, request from Lane Workman for rezoning. Mr. Slagle.
Yes, Your Honor. This is for rezoning of a property on West Liberty from heavy industrial to single family, where he plans to construct some single family dwellings to cover the location and what they're asking for. Once again, Drew Wilford.
Council, this is located at Liberty, Kentucky, right by the Singleton Maintenance Building in the brush yard. And what we have before us is a request to change the zoning for that property, and I apologize, we meant to update the drawing that we have in there. This actually has a segment that is cut off right about here. So there's a cell phone tower on more or less the triangular shape of property, and that would not be included in what we're looking at tonight. And so what they are proposing, though, is to change the zoning for everything south of that to from an I-2 to an R1, with the premise of developing a subdivision of 8 lots at that location. It's interesting that they can actually, and it should be in your packet, they can, I'm trying to see here if I don't know if I uploaded that file or not. It's the letter and map. Yeah, there we go. If you can see that on screen, it shows a general lot layout there, and that's what they're proposing to do with this particular development. So the staff has reviewed this, and interestingly enough, this is a case where the comprehensive plan, it does show that the dividing line for low to medium density and public/semi-public use is actually along Kentucky Street there. I did not catch that whenever I presented this to the Planning and Zoning Commission, but as I looked at this, interestingly enough, the railroad owns the property to the east, and then that line that juts up at a diagonal, essentially that segments off this particular tract of land. It almost acts as a natural barrier or transition piece from semi-public and public use to low to medium density use. And so staff, as far as a recommendation, would say that this does not adversely impact the city's comprehensive plan, even though the dividing line there is on Kentucky Street. It's technically on the other side, but with the railroad ground there, it's actually a pretty solid transition zone. And looking at everything, Lane Wortman is asking to rezone that section to begin development of single-family units. We'd recommend proceeding with the public meeting, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
So I'm sure a road would have to be constructed off Kentucky to get back to lot 6 and 4.
Driveways.
No, actually, those are the old flag, so those are being used on Friendship Drive with the Bell Ray subdivision. It's kind of a flag post style. So you have the driveway here on the screen. I'll try to draw it out right here. And they'll get back to the property. Excuse me. If I could zoom in, I'd be able to show you a little better.
There's a drive.
There we go. So lot 4 and lot 6 would be served by that, and they have the minimum street frontage. This is not a plat, by the way, this is just a concept, but it would come back to you all for a review as a plat, presumably in the next couple months.
So what's the white building there? It's under the zero AC there, right?
Burn it down.
What is that?
I'm not sure exactly.
Maxwell's had a building
I
there.
think it's an accessory building.
It's an accessory building.
Maxwell used to own this property
Yeah.
and has sold it to Lane Wortman since then.
Okay.
And so the premise would be to actually remove a lot of this, we'll say brush and tree cover, and then begin development of the lots. In keeping with this, and I failed to mention this previously, in keeping with our ordinances, we did mail out notification to all residents within 300 feet of both this location and also the 5550 location on East Liberty Street. At the Planning and Zoning Committee, we did have one in attendance who expressed concern about the development, but the concern was actually at people walking through that area and it being more of a security concern. And from my standpoint, if they cleared all that brush, it'd become far less of a security concern. So the one comment that I would say we received as part of a attempt at public engagement throughout this process, I think this would actually help that one comment.
I move we close the public hearing.
Second.
Haig,
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Pink,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
New business. Ordinances, bill number 2026-40, an ordinance rezoning property located at 1225 West Liberty Street. Mr. Slade, want to say anything else?
You just heard the presentation, so unless you have any additional questions, council, we'd recommend you proceed with 2 readings by title only and passage of the attached ordinance, and it has been posted as required length of time.
I move for reading of bill number 2026-40.
Second.
Haig,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Pink,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Bill number 2026-40, an ordinance rezoning property located at 1225 West Liberty Street and amending the district map referred to in section 42-205 of the Code of the City of Mexico, Missouri zoning from I-2 Heavy Industrial District to R1 Single Family District. I move for the second reading of Bill 2026-40.
Second.
Haig,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Pink,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Bill number 2026-40, an ordinance rezoning property located at 1225 West Liberty Street and amending the district map referred to in section 42-205 of the Code of the City of Mexico, Missouri zoning from I-2 Heavy Industrial District to R1 Single Family District. I move for passage of 2026-40.
Second.
Haig,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Pink,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Bill number 2026-41, an ordinance amending the sketch plan, final plat of Park Place subdivision. Mr. Slade?
Yes, Your Honor, council, you may remember this, it came before you a couple months ago, but they've had a kind of a little bit of a change that they would recommend, and to cover the change, to redesign this plat. You're welcome.
Timothy Furlong requested this change. Brush and Associates, the surveyor, implemented it, and this is all aimed at making these lots a little bit more user-friendly, we'll say. And what he's proposing here, this is located along Mars Street, so it'd be between, actually be just east of the Berkshire Estates location, and then between that and J Street, excuse me. And this was seen through P&Z back on May 5th, through council May 11th, and this change simply adjusts some of the lot lines, and it does end up, because it adjusts the lot lines, it does end up eliminating one lot. Because of that here, we can end up seeing a little bit of the changes I can describe on screen. Make some of these lots, especially here, and I apologize here, it's a little bit hard to see, makes that lot a little larger, and because of that, a little easier to develop. We have a sanitary sewer main that runs in from the east, and then Berkshire Estates has one that runs in from from the west and northwest. Makes some of these lots a little more difficult to develop. And so whenever they looked at all of this, they amended the plat as part of our code. We ended up running this back through planning and zoning to make sure everything is in compliance with code. They recommend at their June 23rd meeting, the council proceed to approve the amended plat. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
I move for a reading of bill number 2026-41.
Second.
Haig.
Yes.
Miller. Fink.
Yes.
Ray.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes. Bill number 2026-41, an ordinance amending the sketch plan and final plat of Park Place subdivision to the City of Mexico, Missouri. I move for a second reading.
Second.
Haig.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Fink.
Yes.
Ray.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes. I move. Okay, got it passage now. I've got it already. I move for passage.
Read it.
You gotta read it.
First.
I'm sorry. Bill number 2026-41, an ordinance amending the sketch plan / final plat of Park Place subdivision to the City of Mexico, Missouri. I move for passage.
Second.
Haig.
Yes.
Miller. Fink.
Yes.
Ray.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Resolutions. Bill number 2026-42, resolution authorizing city manager to sign change order number 2 with Sam Gaines Construction LLC. Mr. Slagle.
Yes, Your Honor, this is a part of the Fairgrounds Culvert Replacement Project, and this is for us to do some additional work as it relates to this project, and to cover the details of what we're asking for, once again, Drew Wilbur.
Well, council may recall that when we were awarded the stormwater ARPA grants from the Department of Natural Resources, we were awarded a project that would replace the culvert on the upstream end, the upper end of Lakeview Lake. And as part of that project, since we were going to need to lower the lake to reconstruct the culvert, we thought it'd be a good opportunity to divert some funds and proceed to excavate more on that west end of Lakeview Lake. So we've contacted DNR. They have approved the use of $100,000 to move forward with that excavation. Sam Gaines Construction is the contractor. They also did the work right outside here on East Anderson Street. And we've been working with them to develop a game plan, with the theory being that we will commit only to what I will call a maximum not to exceed amount of $100,000 towards, if you want to use the term, dredging the west end of Lakeview. Whether that gets us 100 loads out, whether that gets us 200 loads out. We don't know yet because we're still developing the plan, but our premise is change order number 2 would authorize that maximum not to exceed number of $100,000. So that brings the total project cost up to $339,727.16. As you know, we've had a lot of change orders as part of the ARPA stormwater grants, and that has caused us to breach or it will cause us, we haven't yet, but it will cause us to breach the grant maximum. We were actually awarded, despite our bids coming in lower, we were awarded the full grant amount, and over time, those change orders have added up to where we would be, by the end of all this, we're tracking quite a bit over that grant maximum. We're planning on transferring $550,000 out of the capital improvement sales tax fund to cover all of these, and we do have sufficient funding for that. Keep in mind, out of that 550, 180, almost 181,000 of that was used for paving. What would that be? West Liberty Street and West Jackson Street. And so you could really subtract that off. That would have came out of the capital improvement sales tax fund anyway, but we wanted to take advantage of, while capital paving was in town, to have them go ahead and knock out those 2 streets because they were some of the lowest on our list. So we're recommending proceeding with authorizing that dredging. We have all the permits necessary to move forward, DNR's approval, and we believe the money to move forward here with not only the culvert replacement, but also the additional, we'll call it dredging work for the west end of Lakeview. And if you've driven by, despite the 2 inches of rain we got this weekend, we're still doing pretty well out there. So it's not every day in July that I can say we get 2 inches of rain over a weekend, but we did, and the pump's still working, and we're good. We'd recommend proceeding. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
How deep do you want to go on that west end?
Well, we were talking with Conservation about that. They recommended 5 feet. I don't know. So when you look at 5 feet across that entire west end, I don't know if I'm going to get very far with that. That's a lot of trips out. Currently, we're looking at taking all that out to the landfill out north on J. We'll have to see how much we can get. But we would start, we're already looking at getting a long reach excavator starting on that, be the northwest corner of the lake.
How deep is it now?
Well, it just fans out from nothing. So you'll start at a 1/4 inch and it will slowly, by the time you get out to the culvert, so that culvert, that's a good question there. That culvert stays underwater by about 5 feet, interestingly enough, all the time. It's about, I think it's a 6-foot diameter culvert, if I remember correctly. So there's just a portion of it that can be seen above the water at ordinary high water, we'll call it. So essentially, we're hoping to deepen in that so that it's more of, instead of a gradual incline, you'll see more of almost a pool effect where you have a defined wall and then it'll be a flat 5 feet deep, hopefully, across there.
Will that help the algae problem that's...
Yes, actually.
Here that-
That's why Conservation asked about that.
Yeah, there's nothing to be done, I mean, you're not going to dig out any of the rest of that lake, are you planning? Well, no.
Well, it'll be all however much $100,000 gets us. So we're working on that now. We're actually trying to develop a game plan to get as much out of the contractor as we can. We're going to contribute our own truck and a driver. We're going to have someone out there at the landfill piling. So it's going to be a bit of a combined effort to try and get this thing moving. We were looking at doing it all internally, but we don't have the staff. So that's what killed that idea.
When you took the water out the first time, I was surprised about how shallow that lake really kind of was.
Yes,
So,
yeah, me too.
yeah.
We don't want to try to sell it. People need dirt.
We thought about trying to reach out and see if some of the areas around there that are more farming oriented might be able to use it. I haven't done that yet. I don't know the quality of it. Actually, to tell you the truth, our street department's going to start excavating on it tomorrow morning. So I'm going out there tomorrow morning. We're going to take a look at it, and then I'll have an answer to that.
Is it dry enough, or is it for somebody to use it, or are you going to be trucking mud?
That's what we're going to test. So you bring up
I
a
think
very
you'd be
good
trucking
point.
mud.
I don't think it will be dry enough. Normally, it takes about a year or maybe 2.
Yeah, I
even.
bet.
So I think, if I had to be honest, what we're going to do is probably put some plastic in the back of that bed between where the dump is and hopefully minimize any issues. But tomorrow morning is the test for that. So you're welcome to drop by if you'd like. We'll be out there probably by 8:30 or so.
Have an event.
That's midday.
That'd be kind of fun.
Has it been dredged before?
Not to my knowledge.
And DNR, once it is suggesting that it gets dredged.
Conservation.
Or Conservation Department.
So I shouldn't say suggested. When we asked them about the depth, they mentioned they had some algae problems out there, and they mentioned that 5 feet would do that. I think that's right, Chad. They said 5. Yeah.
So other than the algae, what's the desired outcome, or why spend the money on it?
With Lakeview having problems more on that west end and being silted in from decades, I wish I could give you an answer on how long it's been since it's been dredged. I would guess that it had been dredged at some point in time because that lake's been there. I've got sandboard map records that show that lake there. But we've got enough accumulation that it would be a good time. The reason being, if we do it now while it's down, we're taking advantage of that fact that we're having to drop the lake anyway. And my apologies to all the residents. who normally use that lake, because we'd hoped to do it way before now, and it just didn't work out last year. And then we got in, due to delay after delay, we got into the rainy season, and I sure am glad that we didn't try to move forward. We would have had a real mess if we tried to excavate out that culvert in April, so.
And so by dredging it, it decreases the need for potential maintenance of the culvert in the future? Is that?
Accumulation,
Slow on that.
accumulation blockages to the culvert. It's common for us to go through and try to excavate out. Think of like the town branch and the culverts we have here. About once every other year, we'll go through there and have a large project where we get down into the branch and then excavate out accumulated silt. So some of that comes into play with the Lakeview project. Some of it more is just quality of life, to be honest. The idea of trying to get instead of having something that when you look at it, it's growing some pond grass out in the water and you can't easily fish. Well, now we'll have a nice area around the perimeter of that west end where people can easily walk up and cast a line and
Cast it over the electric line like it is now.
not over the electric line, right?
There's a lot of them up there.
You get all
There is.
the fishing stuff out of the line here.
Yeah, if we can, that'd be nice. I don't know if we'll make that or not, but those items all factor in together. It's not really just one particular item. It's a good question. Not just one, it's several that all factor into the perfect positive storm instead of negative storm.
So the $100,
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Ladies first.
Oh, I was going to ask you, I saw your ad in the paper today on Facebook about closing the street, for the culvert work. How long do you anticipate that being closed? I don't remember
About-
seeing that in the ad.
Yeah, about a month, to the end of August is what we would think. It should be noted, so we did pass a resolution for a change order with this project already, and that was with wasn't a change order, I'm sorry, it was a separate order with Plan B development. If you recall, we have a sewer line conflict there, and so we have to have Plan B go in, replace the sewer through there, and put in a ductile iron pipe. That way the contractor can get in and get underneath it. As part of the delay, we ran into a redesign on the box culvert.
The 100,000, is that 21% of, because I see down at the bottom, it's 21% match grant?
Yeah. The DNR has provided notification it is eligible for that match, yes.
Okay, so they will match 21%, or we are paying 21%?
Sorry, we are paying 21% of that total price.
Okay.
Yeah.
And 79.
With the
Okay.
grant maximum being breached, at some point, we'll be paying full price, we'll say, once we get over that grant maximum.
I move for reading of Bill 2026-42.
I second it.
Hay,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Briggs,
Yes.
Bill number 2026-42, a resolution authorizing the city manager to sign a change order number 2 with Sam Games Construction LLC for the Fairground Culvert Replacement Project, being part of ARPA grant number DNR SWE 6ACFOD 6A299. I move for passage of 2026-42.
Hay,
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Fink,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Bill number 2026-43, a resolution authorizing the city manager to sign an agreement with, is it GEMA or HEMA?
Gemma.
Gemma? Okay, I didn't know. I was practicing my Spanish. HEMA, for professional design and construction administrative services. Mr. Slagle.
Yes, Your Honor, this is our next step in the process of moving forward with the design for the new City Hall Public Safety Facility at the former Audrain Medical Center cancer site. We went through the process of procuring requests for qualifications for engineering services, and we've narrowed that down and to cover the details of the recommendation once again through Wilbur.
Well, council, this is an exciting phase, actually. So we've completed that RFQ process, as Bruce mentioned, and we had very good competition. There were really no major negatives to any of the firms that were reviewed. But we had, I believe, 7 or 8 firms that, I don't see the number right here in front of me, my apologies, that were evaluated and scored as part of the state statute, the requirements for a request for qualification for professional services. And after those were scored, we selected the top 2, which would be Gemma and then another firm called Arc Images. And so we conducted interviews with those 2 firms, and Gemma stood out as being the most professional firm and being familiar with cases that are just like what we are moving into. And so in working with them, Navigate has been working on our behalf to negotiate a contract. And as part of that contract, they've been using some modified versions of the American Institute of Architects documents, and staff has reviewed those documents, as has the city attorney. So we're assured of moving forward with some very good foundation here for a contract. As part of that negotiation, Gemma has provided a total cost for their work of $857,312.49. I have reviewed that price, and looking at a lot of the projects that I've had, that seems like a lot, it is, but I'm finding that on my projects, I'm averaging about 27% of the construction cost. And so it's far more expensive these days than even just 10, we'll say less than a decade ago. So that number doesn't surprise me, and it seems of a good value. We've been working with them before. We've reviewed their work and find that they would be a great firm to move forward with, and they are actually here in the audience tonight. With council's permission, I would like to go ahead and introduce
Dave maybe first, and then move on with Gemma.
Okay, can do. David, if you're willing, go ahead and proceed, and I'll get out of the way here so they can use the
Dave
mouse.
Wolf is with Navigate, and he's been helping us work through this process, so.
Good evening, everyone. My name is David Lowell. I'm a senior project manager with Navigate Building Solutions. I have about 40 years of experience in the construction industry in the state, and I'm pleased to be a part of this project. It's always rewarding to help local municipalities repurpose buildings and provide build-outs for safety and police to serve you well into the future.
And if you would introduce the Gemma folks, they can go over what they're
This is
kind of preliminary.
This is John Emmert. He is a partner with Gemma. And this is Matt Sutherland. He is a, what's the word? Principal and project manager for the project.
And if you've been there before, you probably remember Matt from some of the preliminary work that we did on feasibility study. He was here before, so.
Yeah, thank you, council and mayor. Really appreciate you having us tonight to introduce ourselves, or in some cases reintroduce ourselves from the preliminary concept design work that we did with you all. We're very excited to be here. I know it's an exciting time for the city. This is what we do, so that we're really excited to get started on this project and to move it forward. So just wanted to briefly go through our team structure, some of our project experience, some projects we've been working on recently, and then what I'll call just some thought starters, some concept ideas that knowing the facility that you're going into, knowing your needs, we did give some thought to what that facility could look like. And then we'll end on next steps for us moving forward. So my name is John Emmert again. I'm a partner with Gemma Architects. Matt Sutherland is principal. We'll be with you guys from the beginning to end on this project, managing that entire process all the way through construction. So that'll take you all the way through to the ribbon cutting. With our team structure, so we will be the lead architect on this. We have mechanical, electrical, plumbing, engineering. Ingenuity is providing that. Civil engineering is provided by ESS. They're already performing the civil survey on the site as we speak, so they're very familiar with the site. We also have Alper Audi, who will provide structural engineering, Thai engineering for technology, and then Arvelope Studio for landscape. So we bring the entire team to the process. That covers all of the different disciplines that you'll see throughout this process. So a few projects that we recently completed. This is for St. Louis County Police Precinct 2. So there's 3 different departments that moved into this facility. The precinct is one component of it, the intelligence department, which has the real-time crime center, fusion center, and then lower level is the property control. So that took 3 different departments within St. Louis County and put them all under one roof. This was a project for Baldwin Police Department. It was a new ground-up facility for their police department, had structured parking underneath, and then also had a 911 dispatch component to it. This was Frontenac City Hall, so not unfamiliar to what we're doing with your facility. This was a combined City Hall, police, and fire station all under one roof. Again, this was a ground-up facility. St. Charles Fire Station, so Matt worked extensively on these stations for the city of St. Charles. See an image of the interior app bay of those facilities. This was a project for City of Webster Groves, so this was their fire station number 2. That was actually a phased project, so we did a phased tear down of their existing building and then built new. That was a 3-bay, double-deep apparatus bay with 7 bunk rooms. This was a project we did for Valley Park Fire Protection District. This had a training component and administrative functions on the lower level, and then the fire station functions on the upper level. You'll see in some of these we have some awards that we're proud of from a design standpoint that we won for some of these facilities. This is just a view of the inside of the apparatus bay, kitchen area. And then this is for Northeast Fire Protection District, so this included ambulance and fire public safety functions as well as training functions. And then this is City of Maplewood, again, administrative functions on the lower level, and then fire station public safety functions on the upper level. City of Glendale Fire Station. And then knowing your project is a renovation addition project, we have extensive experience with those types of projects. This was adjacent to that new fire station project you saw. So this was actually a combination of a 1920s original fire station, which you can see in that kind of gabled end element. This building was added onto in the 60s, the 90s, the early 2000s, and then we renovated it in 2016. So we ran into just about everything you could run into in an existing facility renovation, including termites. So a little bit of everything on that one. Another project that Matt is intimately involved with was the St. Charles City Police Station. So that was a renovation addition project as well. Renovated and added on to a fitness component. This is a project that is actually under construction right now for Florissant Valley Fire Protection District. So everything from this point over is an addition. So they're adding on some administrative functions, bunk rooms, and then they're also adding on a what we'll call kind of a museum type display bay for one of their antique fire trucks. So kind of a unique, cool aspect of that district. And then this is a project that's also under construction right now. So this is in the St. Charles, kind of the north end of the historic Main Street of City of St. Charles. So this is their new City Hall, and that is in a renovation and then large addition to that space with some other projects in that district that are under construction or soon to be under construction right now in existing historic buildings. So that's a little bit about our team and kind of what we've been up to. I'm going to turn it over to Matt now, and he's going to talk a little bit about your guys' project and some thought starters that we had.
Thanks again, Matt Sutherland. So yeah, John said thought starters and just an idea. We're not saying that this is the solution. We wanted to, especially, having been intimately involved with you all through the programming session, bring an idea or a couple of ideas to you on what this possibly could be like. Let's see here. There you go. So we looked at what's special about Mexico and put together kind of a thought board here, and it shows a lot of just our own research and looking into Mexico, the historic qualities, some of the brick that's been used in the city and what the city's known for, and how that could be infused into the site. So as you're all very familiar, we're talking about the former cancer center here. This is the hospital that's being taken down. So just a quick walkthrough of this. So then zoning in red is the portion of the building that we would be renovating. And then we're suggesting there's potential to do an addition off to the east, and then likewise an addition then to the west. So just giving a site plan, this is the new addition that we're proposing on the east end, and then the new addition on the west end, a whole new parking configuration, and reintroducing the road connection through here on the west side. So looking at this floor plans, I'll just go through this very quickly because I think you're all a bit familiar, but in red would be the City Hall component. So in this plan, trying to reuse as much of the existing facility as possible, but then the council chambers portion would be a new addition. And then to the west side of this, we'd have the police function and then fire all combined on the upper level of the building. And here's the plan, blue being mostly police, and then red with the fire apparatus bay, and then some of the common zones here in the middle. So hopefully this works. I'm a little nervous that my images won't click, but concept A, we looked at this in two different ways. One being very contextual, looking a lot like the existing facility, and then one that's a little bit more modern, clean line to be in contrast to the existing facility. So giving you kind of different ends of the spectrum. So each one of these little dots here is a clickable point that I should be able to go in. I'll start here. Yep, cool. This gives us the ability to actually look at the images.
I had all the faith in the world.
I know. Yeah, you never know. Okay, so here we are standing out on the street line, looking at the facility. We're a little bit off to the east end here, southeast corner. So you're seeing the new addition. And we did a contrasting brick, that this brick we chose specifically because it ties into the historic fire brick that was made in Mexico. So bookending either side of the existing facility, this building here where the police would be is a level above where the city hall is. I'm gonna just click through these if I can figure out how to find that. So starting, now we're on the literal northeast corner, so looking at the back side of the council chambers. Let me just click through these. So yeah, these are all like movable images. I can kind of pivot around and show you. So this is the front side of that council chambers, coming around, starting to come into the parking area where the porte cochere is. That's the existing porte cochere where you drive under, be the main entry to City Hall. And you can see on the hillside here, there's the main entrance into the police. And we use specifically roof lines that mimic the hip roof line that you have on the existing building in this particular option. Like I said, this is to complement the existing architecture and try to stitch within it. And then introducing a little bit of a pedestrian public plaza out front to meet the street line. And then purposing the bell, new signage for the facility. So here again, orienting ourselves, the council chambers to the right, main entry, and then up the hill now you're starting to see the fire apparatus bay. So those two pieces would be complementary to each other, same brick, mimicking the same roof line again. Giving a lot of public display to a lot of these spaces that you'd be able to see into the apparatus bay. Use full glass doors. We do this on a lot of our fire stations. Find it's a very popular look that you can see the exciting equipment inside. So here, moving all the way to the west side, you're seeing that fire apparatus bay. So a 4-bay apparatus. And then back to the porte cochere in the main parking lot. And the police up the hill with a re-landscape of this large berm here that could be a really nice public space. So an alternate option B as we call it, this is, like I said, it's a contrasting look to the building. So we're using the same brick, but now taking a step away from the style, simplifying the form. It's a little bit more contemporary look. So here I am at the southeast corner of the council chambers, highlighting the use of this brick again in those moments where we have signage or windows. And it's really, you've seen this in some of our previous work that John showed you. You can take two approaches. You either contrast the existing, so you know what's new, but it uses complementary elements, or you try to stitch within and make it look like an extension of the existing. So we've given you both options here. Again, these are the same viewpoints, looking at the council chambers, the way it interacts with the existing building. Let me get through here. There we go. So zooming in here, you can see the contrast here in form, but the complementary bricks. And the same thing will happen up the hill with the fire apparatus. So same public plaza area out front. Only thing that's really different about this is the forms on either the west and east end of the project. So here we're looking at, this is the fire entrance, the day room, and then the apparatus bay. So same kind of view again, that we're looking at the west end with the apparatus door entry points, the larger aperture looking into the apparatus bay from the street. And then from the very west end, the same idea of looking straight into the apparatus bay, highlighting the equipment. So here, down at the ground level in the parking lot, you can start to see, mostly with the existing building, we're just talking about, honestly, fixing it up. It's in great shape. It has a lot of reusable components. So we hope to minimize the expense and the renovation happening there. And that is, let me see, I'll go back to you. Yeah, that's the whole of both concepts. And then just real quickly going over our next steps with all of you, that we want to get in and do some program verification. We did an extensive program review with you, but just making sure that now that we're getting started, this is the real thing, that we're going to actually answer all of your questions, put in the spaces that are absolutely required, make sure we're spending the money very judiciously, that we're not doing anything that seems excessive or unnecessary. We'll also do an existing building evaluation just to know exactly how we can repurpose most everything in the building. And then quickly from that point, move into schematic design. And schematic design will literally be us nailing down one of the options, saying this is what you prefer, taking that option, enhancing it, and going the direction you all feel comfortable with. And then, that's it. I know we were pushed on time, so I appreciate your time, truly.
Exciting.
John, could you give us a little bit of a timetable, just so that they're fully familiar with our timing that we're looking at as far as design to roughly bid time to ultimately being in the building?
Sure. So the entire design process is about, thank you, David. Have exact dates. So Matt talked about schematic design, so that's when we're going to really drill down on floor plans and the building design portion of it. That takes us through October of this year. Then we go into design development, where we'll really engage with our engineers, talking about systems, talking about where outlets are, talking about AV systems, lighting, finishes, that kind of thing. That process takes us through January of 2027. Then we go into construction documents, so that's where we're putting together all of our documents that'll go out to the bidding community for construction. So that's really the detailing, drawing portion of the process. That takes us out to May of 2027, which puts us bidding the project June of 2027. Bidding is typically about a 4 to 6 week process. We'll get bids in, vet those numbers, potentially have interviews, probably have interviews with general contractors, get them on board, and then that puts us anticipated construction starting, notice to proceed, kind of that mid to end June timeframe. Guessing we're probably looking at July of 2028 final completion. So that gives you kind of a general idea of the process, start to finish. Yeah. Any other other questions I can answer?
I like we put the sign up said municipal complex. I like that kind of identifies both sides altogether.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's, as Matt said, that there's a lot going for that building, that existing building, just the way that it's orientated and the way the levels work. We think it works really well. It's really a matter of, at this point, of getting all your guys' needs in that facility, making sure that we're conscious about what we're changing and modifying inside the existing building so we can put a lot of capital into, the more expensive addition portions of it. But I think there's a ton of potential with that building.
Are there things that municipalities run into that the basic services quote doesn't typically cover? I don't really know. I just saw that it was called like the basic services quote, which implies there's a unlimited services quote or something like that. Like, is it the umbrella it had? Is it covering all those firms' expenses?
It does. It covers all of our engineering expenses, all of our construction administration. So during construction, we're involved in that process. If you were to say, hey, we want to do... Yeah, sure.
So when Navigate prepares the RFQ, we include a very long list of all the detailed items that they need to pick up so that they have that included in that basic scope of services. There's in our RFQ that went out, the list is almost a page long. So yes, they should have everything that we've anticipated will be required for the project.
No, I will say they're thorough. So, yeah, everything is covered. Things like, off the top of my head, if you were to say, hey, we want graphics help with logos or something, that kind of stuff could potentially be ad service, but it's an all-in number.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, true.
Save us money.
I didn't see the heavy ropes going. I want to see Chief Mesco working those. I saw that one picture where guys were going after it.
Get some tractor tires in there.
That's a big deal in public safety facilities now. Is a lot of times, fitness. Obviously, the living quarters, but fitness is a big part of it.
Any other questions?
I move for reading of bill number 2026-43.
Second.
Hay,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Bain,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes. Bill number 2026-43, a resolution authorizing the city manager to sign an agreement with Gemma for professional design, construction, and administration services related to the new City Hall/public safety facility project. I move for passage.
Second.
Hay,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Bain,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Other business, staff report. Mr. Slagle.
Yes, sir. As part of the demolition process now up there with the Audrey Medical Center, we have to relocate a sanitary sewer. And so this is the second location that we found to cover the details of this staff report and what we're looking at. And once again, Drew Whitaker.
Council, on the east side, you may know that area is under construction right now on Horde Street. Plan B Development is working on that. And again, this all relates to that hospital demolition project, something that we weren't necessarily planning on because we didn't know some of these houses were connected to the sanitary sewer system in the way that they are and how we would be disconnecting them if we did. We would end service, terminate service to all these houses. We found a similar case as Horde Street, but on the opposite side. So this would be between the northwest parking lot and Barbary Lane. We've got a few houses in that area that were not on our map that are serviced through a main that runs east from west to east back towards the hospital and then towards the north to cross Love Street. And so what staff has requested is that Plan B Development give us an estimate to provide a new sewer route for servicing these houses. They have, excuse me, and that estimate will include placing approximately 170 linear feet of 8-inch main tying into an existing manhole and placing a new manhole as part of all of this work at a cost of $22,917. The 25-26 annual budget provides $120,000 for improvements to the collection system, but at this point, with several of the projects that we've had hit the budget, we have only about a little under 12,000 remaining. So this project would actually begin to eat into the reserve, which if we pass it here tonight, we estimate the reserve would still have approximately $68,985 remaining in the account. So we do have sufficient funding to move forward, and there's nothing else on the radar, thankfully, that is associated with unknowns with the hospital. We think we're at the end there. And then there's nothing on the radar as far as unknown items with the pump that we can tell. Everything is working pretty well there, and we'd recommend proceeding with authorizing Plan B development to proceed with construction at that cost of $22,917. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
It's your choice.
I move we approve Plan B development to replace 170 feet of 8-inch line and a manhole at the sum of $22,917.
Second.
Haig,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Fink,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Briggs.
Claims.
Move we pay the claims.
Second.
Haig,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Fink,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Briggs.
Council comments. Dr. Fink.
I always forget to prepare comments. I don't really have anything. It's been a good time since the last meeting. Just happy to see this project with the hospital move forward even further, and I should say the city hall.
Mr. Ray.
No comments at this time. Thank you.
Mr. Miller.
I made the same comment Mr. Ray had.
Ms. Briggs.
Well, I'm very excited about our project with the City Hall, and it's really nice to have you all here to see all the great pictures and our drawings you've done, design work, and so we look forward to work with you, and it'll just an exciting time. It's actually for the whole town, a pretty exciting time. So, thank you.
Mr. Slagle.
And nothing at this time, Your Honor.
I hope everybody had a good 4th of July. So I was only 2 when we got the bicentennial, so I didn't get to celebrate the 200. So 250, hopefully everybody got to shoot off some fireworks and have some fun there. So we got one fireworks show, didn't we? We got one of those shot off. So I know we had some problems with the other ones, but public comments. Anybody in the public want to make some comments? Come to the podium, state your name, your address. You have 3 minutes. Not seeing anybody?
I move we adjourn.
Second?
Haig,
Yes?
Miller,
Yes.
Fink, Ray,
Yes.
Briggs.